Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, this channel focuses on the ins and outs of living abroad in the beautiful country of Poland. Now, for this video, I want to talk about 6 differences between Polish universities and American universities. Let's get started. As you may or may not know, I am actually a university student here in Poland. Now, it's not what brought me to Poland. I've been in Poland for approximately 5 years. What brought me to Poland was working and teaching as an English teacher, and that kind of spiraled. And now I know what I want to do forever, and that's teach. And so I've decided I'm going to go to university and get a degree related to teaching English, and then try to get myself a job at a day school or some type of international school in the future. So that's my goal. I'm kind of midway through towards that goal. I'm in my 3rd year of university. So for this video, I just want to kind of give a little information about Polish universities and universities over in the USA. Now, if you're looking into going into university either in Poland or the USA, obviously there's a few things that you can look at for yourself. You just search a university, and there's some kind of generic things that are different. However, in this video, I'm going to be talking about differences that you would only discover by kind of studying at a university in Poland or in the USA. I have to throw out this disclaimer mainly because my experience at university is a bit different here in Poland, in the sense that I am a part-time student. Now, a part-time student doesn't mean that I will be, going to university longer than students that are going full-time. It mainly means that I study at the weekends versus a full-time student will be studying during the week. Now, because I study at the weekend, the size of my classes are significantly reduced. So the number of students that are in the classes are in my year is significantly reduced. And so therefore my experience is going to be slightly different from full-time students. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you're thinking about studying at the University of Opole or in Poland, if you're basing it just on my experience comes from being a part-time student or a student who studies at the weekend. The number one difference about studying here in Poland is that class sizes are extremely small. And again, my classes are going to be even more small because I study at the weekend. Now, my program initially started with 18 students, so I had 17 peers, and now I believe there are only 11 or 10 of us. So over these last 2 years, people have dropped out or people have joined other programs. And so therefore my program is extremely small. However, I did look over at the kind of full-time students or the students that study during the week with my exact same program. I also looked at some of the other years. So there is a 2nd year under us and they have more students. And when I kind of looked at the daytime of students, there are more students, but it's not as huge as it would be in the States. So what this means that here in Poland is that I know in the USA when I studied, in some classes, I felt completely like a number. And I knew that the professor did not know who I was as a person at all. And they just knew my ID number. And with that, it was kind of impersonal versus here in Poland, because the population is a lot smaller for most programs. You are not going to be a number and your professor is going to know you by name. Number 2 is that because in Poland, when you sign up for a program and you get into the program, and then you are kind of grouped with everyone that is in your program. And there's not a lot of cross between, let's say, if you are in a psychology program, then you're grouped with those students that started with you. And so you start to develop an intimate relationship with your peers rather quickly. Versus in the States, you may be studying psychology, but you may have a lot of other classes with students from other disciplines. So that means that there's a lot more people that you are going to class with. Here in Poland, that's not the case. you kind of with the same people, which it can be a pro or a con according to you and your personality. For me, it's been awesome because I really like having, I guess, more quality over quantity. So for me, it's more about like less people and really get to knowing those people. But if you're a person who is super social and you want to get to know a lot more people, I think the States is a little bit better because a lot of times you're kind of taking classes with students that are pursuing other degrees. Number three on the list, which is one thing that I actually appreciate about studying here in Poland, and it makes it a bit easier. So, in the States, when you are studying specifically at one of the larger universities, you are responsible for kind of picking the majority of your timetable. I know that at some universities, some classes are fixed, but for the most part, it is your job to enroll yourself into the necessary classes you need in order to fulfill your degree. Here in Poland, that is not the case. You are enrolled into classes, and so you really don't have a choice as to what classes you're going to take. You're kind of enrolled into those classes. Those classes happen at a specific time, and so you don't have all these options and flexibility when it comes to when you'll take your classes. Now, here in Poland, we do have electives. And with those electives, I looked at the full-time students, and they have some options with some of the electives that they take. It's probably one or two electives when I looked at the timetable just a few days ago. With the part-time students, myself, we also have some choices. However, we have to kind of pick those electives as a whole class. So as a class, we have to kind of vote and see what electives are available. And then as a class, we take that elective. But in Poland, because we don't have to put our whole schedule together, it means that as long as you pass all your classes, that you will graduate on time. There's nothing that's going to hold you back from graduating. Versus in the States, when I was studying in San Francisco, I've heard horror stories of students who forgot to enroll on time and they had took all the classes they need to graduate besides one, and that one particular class was only held maybe one semester. So they had to wait a whole another year in order to take that class and graduate. Number four on the list, and this is probably a really big thing, and I was not really aware of this until I started kind of visiting Europe. So this is not just unique to Poland. This happens at a lot of European institutions, even at the BA level. So I'm getting a bachelor degree, and you have to write a thesis. So it's similar to a thesis that you would write for a master's degree over in the States. However, here in Poland, when you pursue a bachelor, in order to graduate, you have to write a thesis project. Now, the thesis project wouldn't be as long as, let's say, your master's thesis if you decided to take a master's in Poland. However, you do have to present this and you do have to go through the throes of writing a thesis, which is something that is completely different from American universities. Number four, and for me, this is also another pro, is that in Poland, bachelor degree programs only last for 3 years. So you're only studying for 3 years. If you pass all your classes and your thesis statement is appropriate and it's accepted, then you graduate in 3 years. Versus in the USA, bachelor degree programs run for 4 years. And like I said, if you're not able to get all the classes you need to graduate, it's not unheard of that a lot of students may take 4 years to 4.5 years and even 5 years to finish their bachelor degree. Number 5 on the list kind of relates to a point I've already made. But because of the small class sizes, your professor is going to know you by name. And so therefore, studying here in Poland has given me an opportunity to really have the time and not feel awkward or weird or not, having to go out of my way to talk to my professor. It's super easy to have a conversation with your professor before class and after class. Obviously, there's office hours, but because of the small sizes of the classes, there really is a there really is this give and take with students and professors. And so you really do feel here in Poland that you're not just talked to in a lecture, which does happen. We have a lot of lectures, but because of the small student body, you can easily have a conversation. You can easily go on a tangent with the professor or the class as a whole. And I feel that here in Poland, it's easy for you to really have your voice heard. Number 6 on the list was something that maybe for me is a bit of a con. So here in Poland, there are 2 semesters. However, unlike in the States, classes in Poland kind of are staggered through the semester. So maybe for a few weeks, you might have one class and then that class will end and then another class will pick up. Because the schedule is staggered, it's not always the case that you'll have your exam for a class right after the class. And or if you have like a final project that you need to submit, it's not always the case that you'll have the final essay or you'll have that project, right, a week or 2 after the class is finished. A lot of times your exams are kind of pushed back to the end of the semester. So let's say I, had a class at the beginning of the semester and that class ran through, let's say, October, and maybe it ended like in mid-November. Well, sometimes you would take the test, at the end of November, but sometimes it could be the case that you won't take the test for that class until the end of the semester. And so it does require for you to really take detailed notes, and it does require for you to figure out a strategy to study when you're not like fresh with the class. You're not freshly finishing the class. So for me, that's been a challenge. It's been something that I had to learn to kind of cope with and learn to gather information and make a study plan so I'd be successful in passing the exam that, could occur at the end of the semester. I've been asked, what system do I think is better? Do I think that studying in Poland is better? Or do I think that studying in the USA is better? And, if we could eliminate like the cost, if that was something where, like, let's say we could imagine that American universities, were more affordable, or if we imagine that they were the same price as Polish universities, or at least the same ratio when we think of like income and university costs, I cannot arguably say that Polish universities are necessarily better than American universities. I think it depends on you and your personality and what you want out of your education. Now, with saying that, I know that when you study, and if you don't know, I'm gonna let you know that it's really what you make of it. What you learn and how much you learn and how in depth you go, or what things you start to discover, that really depend on you and what you want out of the degree. However, different systems in different countries give you access to specific things. And I think in the USA, if you're looking for a degree where you have more freedom and you have the freedom to kind of pick your own classes and you have the freedom to kind of like tailor your own bachelor degree, I think the USA is a perfect place for you to study. However, in the USA, you don't just jump straight into your subject or into what you're studying. You have a lot of foundation courses or a lot of courses that are unrelated. However, here in Poland, it's almost like the complete opposite. Here in Poland, you jump straight into your degree, the courses that relate to your degree. And here, you don't have as much freedom as what you could pick for classes. But with that said, the program is structured in 3 years, and so you're able to finish your degree faster. And if then you wanted to pursue a master's where you have more freedom to kind of dictate what you want to learn, then you have that ability. Anyhow, if you're interested, if you're Polish, you're interested in studying in the USA, I definitely support that and I say go for it. And if you are an American or from another part of the world and you want to study in Poland, it is definitely worth studying here. The university that I go to, the University of Pole, is amazing and it offers a lot of degree programs. At this time, not a lot of the programs are offered in English, but who knows what the future is going to bring. So, anyhow, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And I can't wait to see you next week. Again, it was good. Whoa. Okay, let me focus. Whoa.